Over the past year, major job platforms have observed a strange phenomenon, a record-breaking increase in the number of applications, but a sharp decline in the number of people hired. This happens at every level, including with Harvard graduates. A 24-year-old Harvard graduate has been unemployed for over a year. She returned to her parents' home, submitted hundreds of applications, and received nothing in return. And she wasn't the only one. According to recent data collected, nearly a quarter of Harvard students are unable to find employment after graduation, a number that has never happened before. But the story doesn't end there. Behind a gradually improving job market lie hidden corners that few talk about. Job postings that are misleading, unrealistic experience requirements, artificial intelligence systems silently eliminate candidates who never know why, and a labor market sustained by illusion. Why aren't companies reporting record profits hiring people? And what is breaking an entire generation of workers? In today's report, we'll take you through the hidden pieces behind this silent crisis and why even the brightest Harvard students can be pushed out of the job market. When we started the investigation, we thought we were looking for the reason why Harvard students were unemployed. But the deeper you dig, the story expands and reveals a much darker picture than what the economic surface is showing. If you only look at the data published by corporations, you'd think the labor market is booming. The number of job postings has doubled in a few years. Financial indicators like the S&P 500 are constantly hitting new highs. Companies are announcing record profits, like tireless money printing machines. From a distance, the economy looks like a brightly lit skyscraper. But just like the neon lights on a big street, the brighter they are, the thicker the shadows hidden behind them. If everything is so good, why can't even Harvard students find jobs? As we approach the real data, the picture immediately changed. In many countries, youth unemployment rates fluctuate between 5–25%, equivalent to packed stadiums, all looking for work but with no one hiring. Corporations are cutting staff even as profits rise, as if they're celebrating by cutting people. And most importantly, real-world experience from thousands of applicants shows that the market has been quietly collapsing for a long time. It's just that reports and charts haven't caught up yet. In other words, we are living in a two-faced economy. On one side are dreamlike beautiful numbers, and on the other are millions of people struggling to find work with no doors opening for them. What do you think is the truth? Numbers or people? A common denominator is gradually emerging. The market is not lacking in jobs. The market is overstaffed. Universities offer too many degrees, occupations with shrinking inputs. Accelerated technology is automating many tasks that were once done by humans. And when the labor supply swells like a fully inflated balloon, just a little pressure will make it burst. If even Harvard can't squeeze through that narrow door, how can we? But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the overpopulation crisis, there lurks a more worrying invisible enemy. Jobs that never existed, algorithms silently scoring candidates, and hiring standards designed to eliminate almost the entire young workforce. Do you think you've fallen into this trap before? Please share in the comments because this truth is not just Harvard's. They started at Harvard, a symbol of global educational power. But when comparing data and listening to the stories of millions of people, a chilling truth emerges. A university degree, once a first-class ticket into the job market, is now just a standing ticket at the end of an endless line. 2 decades ago, simply having a bachelor's degree almost guaranteed you a stable job. But in the current market, that degree is like a key unlocking a door that hundreds of people are trying to break down at the same time. 70% of job postings require a bachelor's degree, making it a minimum requirement and no longer an advantage. Meanwhile, only 30% of adults actually have a degree, making the market a crowded stadium where people are scrambling for a seat. Amidst that jostling, Harvard, which had once stood outside all competition, was now also swept into that dense crowd. If Harvard is no longer privileged, how valuable will the degrees of the majority be? Beside that, we also discovered a suspicious pattern. Universities are increasing enrollment, raising tuition fees, and opening new majors en masse, but without improving job opportunities. Students graduate with a loan equivalent to the price of a new car, but the actual value of their degree isn't enough to get them an entry-level position. One commenter said, "We spend decades studying to become parrots who can repeat theories." One person shared, "I hire people without degrees because I pay them less. What's important is skill. Education says that learning changes lives, but the market answered, not enough." Harvard used to be the exception to every exception. If you graduate from Harvard and still have to stand in the unemployment line, it sends a frightening signal. No degree is immune to a labor market that has completely changed. A Harvard student shared, "My degree only got me to the gate. The back door won't open." And that's exactly what many other Americans are thinking. Today's jobs require real-world experience, not just a piece of paper. The necessary skills lie outside the school. Even an Ivy League degree can't guarantee an interview, let alone a job. Clearly, a degree is no longer a passport to a safe zone. It has become a minimum requirement, sometimes even meaningless, in an oversupplied labor market with a shortage of opportunities. But the bigger question remains unanswered. If degrees are losing value, what is truly preventing young people from entering the market? The answer lies in the second factor: unrealistic hiring requirements that completely eliminate entry-level opportunities. If the devaluation of degrees is the first crack, then the distortion of entry-level positions is the second fracture, and it is quietly changing the entire structure of the labor market. As we followed the data trails, an absurdity emerged. The only door open to newcomers was the most tightly locked one. During the investigation, we analyzed hundreds of job postings from various industries. The results reveal a paradox that directly impacts the younger generation. Entry-level positions require 3 to 5 years of practical experience. Some industries, particularly technology, require 8 years of experience for technologies that have only been around for 3 years. Many jobs that were once for recent graduates now require candidates to have a portfolio of achievements, such as having worked for 5 years. If those numbers were converted into a familiar image, it would be like being invited to a beginner's running race. But the organizers require you to have an Olympic gold medal. Have you ever encountered such an illogical job requirement? What's noteworthy is that even Harvard students fall into this invisible cycle. Want a job, need experience. Want experience, must have a job. This is a loop with no starting point, like a giant maze with only an entrance but no exit. Many young people have to choose unpaid internships, work multiple part-time jobs, or accumulate personal projects just to create the illusion of experience, even though it's all just a way to patch up a hole that's too big for the market. A typical comment we recorded, "Entry level is just a polite way of saying, we're not really hiring new people." Not only are the requirements unusually high, but the current recruitment model also creates a frustrating paradox. Underqualified, rejected for lack of experience. Overqualified, also rejected because too good, afraid they'll demand a high salary or leave early. That is, no matter where you are on the spectrum of ability, you can still be pushed out. There is no balance, no safe ground. One audience member wrote, "The job market is like a funnel, but the mouth of the funnel is getting smaller and smaller, to the point where no one can fit through." Through interviews with many managers, the answer gradually emerged. Businesses want to reduce risk and don't want to train new people. They want to hire people who can start working immediately without needing any training. They leverage competitive pressure to push standards to unrealistic levels, knowing that the labor supply is in surplus. This creates a job market where newcomers have no entry, experienced individuals are not hired, and an entire generation is stuck right from the starting line. What do you think is making businesses increasingly hesitant to hire new people? But that was only the first door that was locked. Behind it is an even more powerful hidden force: automated algorithms, invisible resume filtering systems, and mechanical criteria that are eliminating 90% of applicants before humans even get a chance to see them. Would you like to learn how these algorithms are changing the future of millions of people? We'll talk about it right now, so don't take your eyes off it. Another invisible force is reshaping the labor market, and its name is artificial intelligence. Not in the future, but right now, and it's silently replacing workers from the very first round, before they even have a chance to walk through the first interview door. When I followed a series of modern recruitment process and realized a worrying truth, most candidates are never seen by a human. This is because before HR, your resume must pass a secret checkpoint called ATS, an automated resume scanning system. ATS sorts 99% of resumes in just a few seconds. CV lacks a few keywords in the job description. Move to the bottom of the list. A minor formatting error, excluded from the vehicle submission process. Imagine you're standing in front of a building, knocking on the door with all your expectations. But the person who decides whether to let you in isn't human. It's a machine that doesn't know who you are, doesn't know how good you are. It only knows how to compare keywords like comparing products in a supermarket. Have you ever sent out hundreds of applications and received no response? Perhaps you've never seen it. Not only that, in many industries, AI is no longer just a support tool. It's becoming the future colleague that many people haven't even been introduced to. AI processes data hundreds of times faster than humans. The task of analyzing, synthesizing, and researching the market, once a major area for human resources, sales, and marketing, has now been automated. Companies optimize costs by having AI handle both simple and intermediate tasks. If we translate this into a familiar image, it's like an automated vending machine replacing an entire convenience store. Silently, efficiently, and unstoppable. Evidence from numerous surveys shows that AI is not only taking away existing jobs, it reduces the need for immediate hiring from the start, meaning many positions disappear before they are even advertised. Studying for 16 years to be replaced in 16 milliseconds? It sounds absurd, but it's a true story about a female Harvard University student. And now it's not just a personal shock, it's a signal of a new era, where humans study for 16 years, but an algorithm takes less than a second to eliminate them. Many viewers shared, "I didn't lose because I was bad, I lost because I was eliminated by a machine that had never met me." We're not competing with each other, we're competing with the algorithm. When AI becomes both the gatekeeper and the backup employee, the opportunities for new workers are reduced to a small crack between two tightly pressed stones. What do you think about AI being given the power to decide who deserves a job? But there's another more concerning truth. Even if they pass the AI, many candidates still fail because they're applying for jobs that don't even exist. Have you ever suspected that the job you applied for might not be real? Now let's talk about ghost jobs. Phantom. Positions that are draining the time, energy, and hope of millions. Who knows, you might find yourself in it. You know, when we looked into the current job market situation in the US, we kept encountering a strange phenomenon. Thousands of people applied, dozens of tests were completed, countless emails were sent, but the only result they received was silence. As they delve deeper, a terrifying secret gradually emerges. Many of the jobs they are applying for never actually existed. Reputable reports in recent years have revealed a concerning reality. Approximately 40–80% of online job postings are not genuine. Some companies admit they keep job postings up for months on end, even though they're not hiring. Recruitment platforms earn revenue from the number of posts, not the number of people hired, meaning the more fake jobs, the more they benefit. Imagine walking into a shopping mall, seeing hundreds of brightly lit stores with sparkling signs. But when you open the door and step inside, it's completely empty. That's how the job market works today. Have you ever suspected that the job you applied for was actually just a smokescreen to create the illusion of hiring? Not only are ghost jobs time-consuming, but they also lead to deep disappointment. Candidates spend hours writing cover letters, taking tests, recording video interviews, submitting portfolios, and then are completely ignored. Thousands of people in the comments section shared that they submitted 100–300 applications but received no response. It's not because they're inferior, it's not because they're not suitable, but because that job never intended to hire them or anyone else. This turns the labor market into a casino where candidates are not only gambled with, but also misled from the very beginning. Have you ever applied for a job that then disappeared without a trace? Do you think it's a virtual job? But the scariest thing is, ghost jobs are just a surface-level smokescreen. Beneath it lies the economic engine, the workforce reduction strategy, and the cost optimization mindset that are driving businesses further and further away from people. Let's delve deeper into this section in the coming minutes. If the previous parts showed a weakening labor market, the fifth root revealed the most controversial piece of the puzzle, a change in corporate thinking. When making the video, we discovered that despite the financial reports being a brilliant shade of blue, job opportunities were closing at an unprecedented rate. What's really going on inside closed-door meeting rooms? For many years, large corporations have reported record-high profits. But alongside the steadily increasing profits, like a straight line, there were large-scale layoffs. Many companies announced strong quarterly profit increases, but just a few days later, they announced a large-scale downsizing plan. The positions being cut are not just entry-level, they are also affecting roles that were once considered the backbone of the organization. What do you think about the trend of companies reducing staff as they become more profitable? Experts all agree that the strategy of many corporations today revolves around a single goal: maximizing efficiency for shareholders. This leads to subtle but powerful changes. Hiring someone is cheaper than hiring someone better. Some positions requiring advanced degrees are being filled by candidates without them, simply because of lower salaries. Outsource abroad to save costs. Some industries report that personnel costs are reduced by up to 1/4 when transitioning to an outsourcing model. Reduce full-time positions, increase short-term contracts. It's not because of a lack of work, but to reduce welfare costs. All of this leads to a market where workers are no longer assets, but rather operating costs that need to be optimized. A comment from the audience caught our attention. It's not robots taking jobs. It's the corporations that are tightening every penny of cost. The job market, which was built on the fair exchange of effort and opportunity, has now become a spreadsheet of revenue where people are reduced to numbers. But behind all these pieces, from devalued degrees, distorted entry-level positions, invisible AI screening to ghost jobs and downsizing strategies, there is still a final consequence slowly taking shape: a generation of young people falling into a crisis of confidence and disillusionment before their careers have even begun. For many years, society taught them that study hard, good university, stable job. But when they entered the world, they discovered that promise had expired. Thousands of comments reveal a common sentiment. We did everything right, but we're still unemployed. If even Harvard can't save it, who can? Many young people say they feel tired even before their careers begin, a state of early exhaustion that experts call anticipatory burnout. Meanwhile, many from the previous generation express their regret. Pity the young people of today. We have never faced such a difficult market. They witness their children learning more, preparing better, but having fewer opportunities. The most worrying truth isn't the unemployment figures, but the general feeling. There's no way into the profession anymore. No more maps. There are no more promises that effort will be rewarded. This is precisely why many experts are warning of an era of mental exhaustion, where pressure doesn't come from work, but from not being able to find work. But behind all these emotions, there remains a big unanswered question. If the younger generation has been pushed out, then who will be chosen? And what is the market prioritizing? The job market is changing faster than any generation can adapt. When even the best Harvard students are struggling to find opportunities, the important question is no longer who is better, but rather in what direction the rules of the game have changed. What do you think is the biggest reason the labor market is so tough right now? And do you believe the solution lies with individuals, businesses, or the entire system? Please share your thoughts below. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. The content in this video is intended for informational, analytical, and reference purposes. This is not career, financial, or legal advice. Audiences should evaluate and apply this based on their individual circumstances.